Hello friends, I welcome you in this session on scientific evidence and global trends in climate change. In our previous session, we have discussed the basics of climate change, how natural and human activities alter the balance of our planet. Friends, we are going to dig deep into the science of climate change, the hard evidence that tells us beyond any doubt that our planet is warming and that the humans are the primary cause. Let's begin with the question. How do scientists actually know that the climate is changing? Is it just about hot summers or melting glaciers? Not quite. It's a story written in the data gathered from the land, oceans, and even deep within ancient ice. How do we know that climate is changing? Scientists collect evidence from multiple but independent sources. First, there are some direct measurements, instruments that record atmospheric carbon dioxide, global surface temperatures, and ocean heat content. One of the most famous sites is the Mauna Loa Observatory in Hawaii, which has been monitoring carbon dioxide since 1958. In the past, levels were around 315 parts per million. Today, they have crossed 420 ppm, the highest in about 8 lakh years of history. Then we have paleoclimate data, ice cores from Antarctica and Greenland, tree rings, and ocean sediments. These are like the Earth's time capsules, revealing how carbon dioxide and temperature move together for millennia. The verdict here is the current spike is unprecedented both in size and in speed. Then there is more sensing from satellites. They track the shrinking ice sheets, rising seas, and vegetation changes, giving us a global snapshot in real time. And finally, climate models, complex computer simulations that combine physics, chemistry, and biology to recreate Earth's systems. They let scientists test what if scenarios, what if emissions rise, what if they fall, helping policymakers plan for the future. Friends, let's now understand the key indicators of a warming planet. What do these lines of evidence show? The Earth's average surface temperature has increased by about 1.1 degrees Celsius since the late 1800s. Each of the past 4 decades has been warmer than any time before 1850. GHG concentrations of carbon dioxide, methane, and nitrous oxide are all at record highs. Over 90% of the extra heat trapped by GHGs has gone into the oceans, altering marine life and weather patterns. Arctic sea ice has declined by more than 40% since 1979. Himalayan glaciers, our own third pole, are retreating at an alarming rate. Global seas has risen about 20 to 25 centimeters since 1880 and the rate is accelerating. And what about our home, the India? In India, the changes are unmistakable. Our average annual temperature has increased by roughly 0.7 centigrade since 1901. We have all experienced it in terms of longer, harsher heat waves, unpredictable monsoons, and sudden floods. In the Himalayas, glaciers feeding the Ganga and Brahmaputra are shrinking. Down south, coastal cities like Chennai and Mumbai face recurrent flooding and salt water intrusion. These aren't isolated incidents. They are part of a consistent, scientifically observed pattern. Friends, it's very important to understand the role of IPCC, the world's climate science authority. All the evidence regarding climate is compiled and reviewed by a body called the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, or IPCC. Formed in 1988 by the UN Environment Programme and the World Meteorological Organization, the IPCC doesn't conduct experiments itself. Instead, it evaluates thousands of peer-reviewed studies from across the world to produce comprehensive assessment reports roughly every 6 to 7 years. In its most recent series, the sixth assessment report, AR6 2021 to 2023, it has made one thing absolutely clear. Human influence has unquestionably warmed the atmosphere, the ocean and the land. The report warns that we could cross the 1.5 degrees Celsius threshold as early as 2030 if emissions continue at the current pace. Let's find out what the IPCC tells us about South Asia and India. According to AR6, the South Asian region is one of the world's most climate vulnerable regions. Key risks involved in this region are water security due to glacier retreat in Himalayas, threatening the flow of major rivers like Ganga, Brahmaputra and Indus, and impacting the livelihood of millions of people. Loss of agricultural yield, heat stresses and erratic rainfall may reduce the yields of rice and wheat. More frequent heat waves and the spread of waterborne diseases leading to health emergencies. Sea level rising, endangering 7,500 kilometers of coastline and major cities like Kolkata and Chennai. For India, these findings are not just scientific insights, they are policy blueprints. They underpin our National Action Plan on Climate Change, our state action plans, and our nationally determined contributions under the Paris Agreement. Friends, now let's talk something regarding the power of climate models. Climate models are the powerful tools that help us peek into the future. Scientists use these scenarios called representative concentration pathways RCPs, reflecting standardized GCG concentration scenarios or shared socio-economic pathways SSPs, describing how global society, demographics and economics might change in future. The two possible scenarios may be the low emission pathway SSP 1 to 1.9, limiting warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius, but only if immediate large-scale emission cuts happen. The high emission pathway SSP 5 to 8.5, pushing temperatures to more than 4 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels, a scenario of severe droughts, floods and food insecurity. Which path we follow depends on our choices that we make today as governments, as industries and as individuals. So friends, when people ask, is climate change real? The answer is no longer a matter of belief, it's a matter of evidence. Thermometers, satellites and even glaciers themselves are telling the same story. In the end, we can say the data is clear, the science is robust and the urgency is undeniable. In our next session, friend, we shall move from evidence to action. We will explore how the world has come together through global frameworks like the UNFCCC, the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement, and how India has become a leading voice for climate justice and sustainable growth. Thank you for joining me in this session.